Good evening. I'm Nate Putterball with your sports update. Ohio State is honoring the great Jerry Lucas all weekend long. Earlier today, his statue was unveiled outside the Schottenstein Center. Check it out Sunday when the men's basketball team takes on Notre Dame at the Schott at 12:30. The Ohio State women's basketball team is also in action on Sunday. They're heading out to number 1 UConn. Jerry Lucas will also be in attendance tomorrow night as the top-ranked Buckeyes take on UCLA at the Shoe at 7:30. Lucas will be ringing the victory bell before the game. In college football tonight, it's a doubleheader in the ACC and Big Ten. Clemson heads to number 20 Louisville tonight at 7:30, and it's Big Ten after dark as Minnesota visits number 8 Oregon at 9 o'clock. The Browns and Bengals return to the field this weekend. Cincinnati heads up to Pittsburgh Sunday at 1, and the Browns play host to Baltimore at 4:25. This update brought to us by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling, together to serve you better. Schedule today at thewaterworks.com. Breaking sports news, what happens on the Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
And Brad Rucker for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Welcome to the Buckeye Show. Beamer has the night off. I am Dave Biddle. I am joined by Patrick Murphy. We have producer Nate Putterball
The usual cast of characters here.
Exactly right. I mean, like for Patrick and I, it's the Bucknuts takeover.
Yeah. We're used to doing this, just not in this exact setting.
That's exactly right. So Buckeyes, at first I was like, oh, this UCLA game's a night game. Now I'm kind of glad it is. First of all, it's a big recruiting weekend. Buckeyes favored by 31.5. It might have ticked up. I was listening to Common Man on the way in, and I think they were saying it was 32.5 now.
Yeah, Nicole said 32.5. I was listening to that too. I pulled up here what I go to is the Vegas Insider site. Do you use that?
The one that has like all of the lines?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's got them still listed at 31.5 for Bet365, Draft, basically all of the ones you would use. But I don't doubt that Nicole saw it somewhere.
She was probably looking at her offshore account on that Costa Rica sports book that she uses. But 31.5, like the Buckeyes, last week they didn't cover. They've been covering and smothering this entire season. Previous to last week, the only time they didn't cover was against Ohio University, and they missed that by 0.5 point. And they say, Patrick, as you know, good teams win, great teams cover. I have them covering this 31.5 point spread.
Yeah, I think that's very doable. Last week they would have covered if not for the backup defense allowing a touchdown on that last Purdue drive, and they were upset by that. They talked about not necessarily covering the spread, but the fact that they gave, we heard it a few weeks ago when the backups came in against Wisconsin and held that shutout, right? Guys were pretty excited about that. So the fact that they did give up a touchdown there, they were not happy. And I think, we hear all the time, standard is the standard, right? That's the phrase that goes around. And that's true when you're in the game, no matter whether you're a first-string guy, second-string guy, third-string guy.
Let's talk about the running game. Now, people are already, I did a podcast this morning, people are talking about the weather forecast in Ann Arbor 15 days from now. I'm like, really? You guys are putting any validity into a weather forecast 15 days from now?
Premature.
Yeah, even if it was 3 days away, I'd be like, okay, grain of salt. They're saying it's looking like a bad weather game. I've said all along, Ohio State needs to prepare like it's going to be nasty weather there. Now, Ohio State's defense is tremendous. It's Michigan is very one-dimensional, and Ohio State's defense is awesome. But Ohio State's running game situation, if they can't really throw the ball as much as they want 15 days from now, how do you feel about that running game from Ohio State's perspective? And what about the offensive line, especially at right guard?
I feel better about the running game after what we saw against Purdue. Now, Purdue, not a great run defense. These next 2 weeks won't give us a great example either. UCLA 123rd in the country, Rutgers 127 out of 136 teams. So, that's not great stuff, but I think you will have the opportunity to build confidence and build on what you had last week. Look, if you add in, it was their best rushing performance in the Big Ten, and then if you'd added in that 70-yard run at the beginning, where Jeremiah Smith, it's a penalty that he doesn't need to commit. It's ticky-tack, but he does push the guy in the back a little bit. If he just stands there, Bo runs around and it's a touchdown. So, it was well executed other than that, and that's what they've kind of been waiting for. They've had a few 50-yard runs from Bo. The offensive line, look, I wrote this in something we did on Bucknuts today in our roundtable. I think if there was something else on this, if this team wasn't as nearly flawless as it is, we're probably not talking about the offensive line as much. Because, they've given up, I think, 9 pressures last week, 11 the week before against Penn State, and 10 the week before that against Wisconsin. But, we're setting that up against perfection, right? Or, it was only a few weeks ago you and I were talking about Austin Saravel being the only left tackle to not give up a pressure. Now he's given up a few. I think that just happens over the course of the season. Is this going to derail them? I don't think so. I think this offensive line right now, and, you mentioned right guard, Tegra Shabola is a common thread here. I think they're better than last year's offensive line. I'm going to be honest. I think they are playing at this point in the season better. Now, obviously, we know the injuries played a part last year, and they had to figure that out. But, yes, is there room to improve? Sure. But I think that, if maybe the defense weren't quite as elite, or if the defensive tackle depth hadn't developed, or things like that, we wouldn't be zeroed in on the offensive line as much as we are.
Let's look at the Heisman odds for a second, and then we're going to hear from Ryan Day talking about Julian Sand. So Fernando Mendoza from Indiana, he is the Heisman favorite right now. Depends on what site you look at, but one I looked at has Mendoza plus 130 to win the Heisman. Julian Sand right behind him, plus 170. Then there's a decent drop to number 3. Marcel Reed is now third, 7-1. Ty Simpson, 8-1. So again, Mendoza almost even money. Julian not far behind that at plus 170. And then all the way 7-1, 8-1 for the next two. So it really looks like a 2-horse race. If you want to look deeper, Diego Pavia, 20-1. Sixth is somebody named Jeremiah Smith, 25-1. But it looks like basically a 2-horse race. Before he gets Patrick's thoughts on that, let's hear from Ryan Day talking about Julian Sand.
I think I mentioned this before when Julian got here. I felt like Julian and his family always just had the mindset that this was going to happen for them and him. And, spending time with mom and sister and just early on, they got him set up and felt like, he was somebody that, has friends and has a social presence, but not really much, a little bit here and there, but really wanted to make sure that he set him up where he was, in a place where, he could kind of, be by himself. And I think that because of all that, now that this has all happened to him fast, it's been easy for him to deal with that. Billy does a great job talking to him. I've had conversations with him about on the front end of what this could be and now what it is. And I've seen him be consistent. I think he shows that same demeanor that you see on the field, off the field, and he's got a great support system in place. So, excited to see him now finish off the season the right way and stay focused.
I always love hearing those pads popping in the background.
Oh, yeah.
We're used to hearing that, aren't we? Trying to do our job around that. But yeah, I mean, I've talked to Ohio State fans, and they're upset that Mendoza is now the favorite. And a common theme, and I agree with this, is really he's getting credit for playing poorly against Penn State till the last drive. Like, Julian played way better against Penn State than Mendoza did just because he didn't have his Heisman moment. What I say, and I agree with that, but if you're a Buckeye fan and you're concerned about that, it's going to work itself out. It's definitely going to work itself. These guys are probably going to play each other in the Big Ten championship game, and whoever wins that game, unless the one quarterback, the winning quarterback plays terrible, they're going to win the Heisman. So it's going to take care of itself. So right now it looks like a 2-horse race. Your thoughts?
I agree. I think, look, there's still a few weeks left, so a lot of things can happen. But if you are looking right now at the two favorites, it's certainly these two guys. And yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, I get the emotion of the moment as you're watching that game and Mendoza leading that drive down there. Like, Julian hasn't had to do that. The closest thing would have been Texas, and obviously that was a whole different Julian, right, with first game starting. So, like, there's an opportunity for him. It's a couple weeks up in Ann Arbor where he will maybe not have to drive the team down the field. Maybe he will, but you play well in that game, everyone is going to be watching that game with what's on the line. The opportunity for Big Ten championship, an undefeated season, Ryan Day to get the monkey off their back, Michigan to try and make it 5 in a row. So everyone will be watching that. And I think if Julian performs there at the level he has, Mendoza the next 2 weeks is playing Wisconsin and Purdue. That's not a we got to watch those games and see what he's doing type. He'll put up numbers, but Julian put up numbers 2 weeks ago against Penn State, right? And he became the Heisman favorite. So just keep doing what you're doing and handle your business in Ann Arbor.
His accuracy is so impressive. I know I'm not breaking news there. I mean, he's completing 81% of his passes, which would be like 4% higher than any quarterback in history. Like, you're talking about like Colt McCoy, you're talking about like Bo Nix. So those guys like competed like right around 77%. Colt McCoy was a little under that his final year at Texas, like 76.8. 81% is insane. And And a lot of these are like tough throws. It's not like he's just throwing like screen passes and like, 5-yard passes over the middle of the tight ends. Like he's dropping dimes deep down the field, small windows. I mean, this guy, I never thought, Patrick, I'd see a more accurate quarterback at Ohio State than Dwayne Haskins. Then I never thought I'd see one more accurate than C.J. Stroud. And I don't know. I mean, I'll say it again. I don't think I'll ever see a more accurate quarterback than Julian Sayin at any level.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to do that. I mean, 80%. If he ends the season that way, I don't know how you eclipse that. But the way that he's doing it too. I mean, I think about Bo Nix, the year that he set that record. Like, he took some shots, but he wasn't taking the shots that Julian Sayin was, and it helps to have the weapons, no doubt about that. But it's not like they're making these crazy catches to give him these completions, right? Most of them are on the money, as you were saying. So it's been really impressive. I mean, we heard and we saw a little bit of it last year and in spring practice, right? Just what Julian could do. But I think he's, in my book, you can speak for yourself, Dave. I think he has exceeded my expectations and as a first-year starting quarterback, especially when we're talking about that accuracy.
For sure. I mean, I just go back to what I wrote in the preseason. I expected Julian to play well this year. I expected we'd look back on him being a good starting quarterback. Mm-hmm. I was like, when? How quickly? Will it be week 1 against Texas? That's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
And you're right, man. I mean, I expected him to be good. He's been great. I mean, to me, he should be the Heisman favorite right now. According to the odds, he's second, barely, with a huge lead over who is number 3. So for sure he's exceeded expectations. And I guess we should have seen this coming. Ryan Day knows what he's doing with quarterbacks. Julian was the number 1 quarterback in his class, depending on what service you look at. I believe according to the composite, he was number 1.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was just a perfect storm for the Buckeyes with Nick Saban retiring, getting Caleb Downs and Julian Sayin, because those guys would have stayed at Alabama 100% if Saban didn't retire.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's Ryan Day should send him a fruit basket or something. Whatever coaches send each other, bottle of wine, I don't know. Because, I mean, last year getting Caleb Downs and what he did for that defense, because, look, I think that defense is probably still really good, but Caleb Downs takes it to another level. And then you get Caleb again for a second year, and you add Julian in, and, not to take anything away from what Will Howard gave them last year, but, I mean, Julian's just playing on a different level. So, yeah, it's really worked out well for the Buckeyes and the Nick Saban retirement.
All right, up next, we're going to talk more about this Ohio State-UCLA game tomorrow night. Also, it's a big recruiting weekend for the Buckeyes. That's coming up next. This is the Buckeye Show.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Flexible, secure, fun. Oh, and great pay, too. Are you not sure what you want to do for a career? Or are you thinking of changing careers? Being a dental hygienist or dental assistant may be the perfect fit for you and provides all of these perks plus more. Talk with a dentist in your community or visit ODA.org to learn more. Become a valuable member of the dental team and start helping people love their smile. This message is brought to you by the members of the Ohio Dental Association.
Hey, football fans, it's November in Ohio, and you know what that means. It's time to face that state up north in a battle to claim forgotten funds. Join us in the statewide challenge and visit com.ohio.gov/radio to help support Ohio's takedown of Michigan. The state with the most searches wins. Who knows? Unclaimed funds could help you buy a seat to the big game next year. Claim your money today at com.ohio.gov/radio.
You get up early on snow days because snowed in is not an option. The Kubota Snow lineup of compact tractors, RTVs, and versatile attachments are built to thrive in the winter. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $4,000. Now through December 31st, see us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Find your local Kubota dealer at BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Picture it. Your holiday table. The family cooking together. The scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps. Spiced cider in every glass. Laughter around every plate. At Kroger, we know these moments matter, and we make it easier to bring them to life with quality that's affordable in every aisle. This season, don't just host, make every moment unforgettable. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Fan has a new tailgate destination. Join us before every home game at the O Patio and Pub on Lane.
Sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers, Jameson Whiskey and Coors Light.
See you Saturday, friends.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Hey Buckeyes, I'm John Chabot with Surest, a digital-first health plan designed to make healthcare simple and affordable right here in Ohio. At Surest, we believe healthy small businesses are vital to our economy. That's why we're ready to give your small business a VIP opportunity through our small business sweepstakes. Winners will be recognized on the sideline at an Ohio State home football game. To enter, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Surest. That's SUREST. Surest, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens. Their latest forecast. We're looking at a chance for a sprinkle or two as we head through this evening and into tonight. Partly to mostly cloudy skies expected. Heading to Saturday, cloudy skies. Sprinkles possible during the day. Chance for a light shower exists through the late afternoon and into the evening before rain comes to an end. High temperatures in the 60s for Saturday. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Ryan Day's favorite radio show. Probably. Maybe. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
All right, Patrick. I was telling you about this. So, Tito, Jeff Thedoff, and I have had this long-standing Jordan-LeBron debate, and we haven't talked about it. I even have it on my phone here. We haven't talked about it since September 6th. All of a sudden, unprompted, he just sent like a message like we had just been talking about it, and it's so funny. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, our long-standing Jordan-LeBron debate. I'm like, I know, but like we haven't talked about this in over 3 months, and now you're just like randomly bringing it up like you're continuing a conversation. But anyway, Tito. You know about Tito.
Which side?
He's
I
a good
assume
man.
you were on the Jordan side.
You assume correctly.
And he is on the LeBron side.
Well, here he's on the fence. He's always like defended LeBron, but now he's like, this is where it came. Out of nowhere, you and I were getting ready for the show. Out of nowhere, a couple minutes before the show, he goes, here's my problem. He doesn't say, hey, Dave, I know we haven't talked in 3 months. He starts off with, here's my problem. If I look at sheer numbers, it's LeBron. If I look at highlights, it's Jordan. And I'm like, I just said, I mean, I knew what he was talking about. I just said, LOL, what are you talking about? And he's like, you know, our Jordan, like LeBron debate. I'm like, I know. So yeah, he's now kind of on the fence again. So I think I've talked him into it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense, you know, statistically with LeBron being the all-time leading scorer and whatnot, but I don't know. There was something different about Michael that it's going to be hard to watch a guy and be like, my biggest thing is always, and not, we're going way off topic from the Buckeye show here, but LeBron is so physically gifted that almost takes away from him. It's almost like we're talking Julian saying a few minutes ago, like having those receivers almost takes away some of his credibility as a quarterback, which is not fair. Like he's throwing those passes.
No one said that about Joe Burrow when he had Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson.
Right?
Did anybody bring that up in 2019? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
What about Jaden Daniels? Jaden Daniels had some good receivers with Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.
Exactly.
But now you're hearing it with Sayan, to your point.
Yeah. So I don't know. LeBron, like, I mean, he's certainly in that conversation. I always think it's funny, and not that, I was alive for these guys, but there are some guys in the past that, Bill Russell and guys like that just like, why don't they ever get brought up? Especially the ones that were on the Celtics that won all those championships and whatnot. I don't know. That's a debate for a different show, but I do think it's funny that just came up out of nowhere. Popped up on your phone today from Tito.
Yes, yeah. Tito and I are friends, but that's just funny how he acted like we were just talking about it over 3 months ago. Let's just continue the conversation like nothing ever happened. All right. Speaking of players from L.A., how about, first of all, thanks to UCLA for bringing the California weather kind of with them here to Columbus, where it's going to be in the 60s tomorrow after it's been in the 30s for a lot of this week. But how about Nico making his return trip to Columbus less than a year ago after that fateful performance when Tennessee fans were nicknaming Ohio Stadium Neyland North. Talk about tugging on Superman's cape. That didn't go well.
They learned.
Nico is a tough dude, though. I just think, I don't know where you come down on this. And every time I see him interviewed, he seems like actually a nice kid. I just feel like he's gotten terrible, terrible advice.
Look, I mean, I guess it depends on what he wanted, right? Did he want to play for a team that was going to win? Did he want to be back home? Did he want the money? Because if he wanted the money, that reportedly did not work out the way he wanted. It sounds like he's making actually less at UCLA.
On a worse team.
You're
yes.
Right. Was it just going back home? That's what he said at Big Ten Media Days, was that, he wanted to be closer to family and things like that. Easy to say now when you're, the decision's done and whatnot. Look, it's the cautionary tale of the first major cautionary tale, I guess I'd say, of kind of the NIL transfer portal era, and jumping in the portal, thinking everything's going to go great. And then it's like, oh no, what have I done? And maybe he didn't think that way. Maybe UCLA was something he wanted to do, and he could build that program back up. But would it surprise you if he's in the transfer portal this offseason?
No, it wouldn't surprise me. No, I would bet he will stay there, but I wouldn't bet a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Now his brother's there, and I guess it depends on who they bring in as their new head coach, presuming their interim head coach does not get promoted. Which I've seen crazier things happen than that.
Sure.
I imagine that won't happen. But no, I mean, it would not shock me. I think he will stay there, though.
Yeah. And look, there's been some good moments. I think he's had to put a lot on his shoulders. I was talking with one of our colleague, or one of our other beat writers, Marcus Hartman, over the week, and he was like, I don't remember. He was just looking at stuff about Nico, and he was like, I don't remember him rushing this much last year. And I was like, oh, he didn't. Like, he ran some early in the season, but they clearly, it was almost CJ Stroud-like of only do that when you need to. At UCLA, he's running a lot. I mean, his numbers are up already, and he hasn't even finished the season over his career high rushing numbers from last year. So, I mean, would it surprise you if this looks a lot like that Tennessee game, with him having to kind of do it all for this offense on Saturday night? I don't think so.
No, and UCLA's offense has definitely been better than they were through their first 4 games, but then they've taken a step back, and their defense is worse than their offense.
Mm-hmm.
But Nico's a tough guy. He's tough. I mean, he got his helmet cracked open a couple times last year in that game that I referenced, and kept coming back. He's a tough dude. There's no doubt about it.
Well, and what's crazy about it is he's so skinny. Like, when I saw him at Media Days, I was just like, that's the guy that took all those hits. And I know they're padded up and whatnot, but it's almost like he's never hit the gym. I mean, I'm sure he has. I'm not trying to say that, but he's just a small, doesn't have a big frame to put a ton of muscle on. And so those hits, it's impressive that not only just that game, but throughout the course of a season, he hasn't had to, miss time or whatnot extensively. He just gets back up.
Big recruiting weekend for the Buckeyes. Again, I was not a big fan initially when I heard that this was going to be a night game tomorrow night, but it's actually good for Ohio State recruiting. Gives them one more night game. Now, most kids are not playing high school football any longer because their seasons are over. But if kids are still playing in the playoffs, this gives them a chance. If you're playing on Friday night, which most kids are who are still in the playoffs, then you can come to Ohio State for this night game. And it's a big recruiting weekend. They got a bunch of 2027 kids coming in on unofficial visits, kids that are juniors in high school right now. But I want to focus on the kids that are seniors. They're going to be committing in 2.5 weeks. The early signing period begins 2 weeks from Wednesday. CJ Bronaugh is a top 100 corner. He's committed to Florida, but he's taking an official visit, and a lot of people think that CJ Bronaugh is going to flip from the Gators to the Buckeyes. Another one that's on commit watch, Dre Quinn. He's a former Clemson commit. He decommitted from the Tigers. He's a defensive end. Looks like the Buckeyes are in a very good position to land Dre Quinn. And the other big-time name that's in on an official visit is Braxton Rembert. He's committed to Wake Forest. He's a linebacker, and some have compared him, and everybody says the same thing, like, not trying to compare him to Arvell Reese, but he's kind of like an Arvell Reese. It's like, so wait, are you not comparing him to Arvell Reese, or are you comparing him to Arvell Reese? But those three guys are not just coming to Columbus this weekend. It seems like the Buckeyes are in a really good spot with all three of them, Patrick.
It does. I was talking to our Garrick Hodge earlier this week about this weekend and about this 2026 class in general. And he said, he would not be surprised if there are a couple of guys that still either flip or, guys that are uncommitted or have decommitted, as you mentioned, that end up in this class, which, it had dropped down to, I think, in our rankings, number 9 in the country. It's now climbed back up to number 7. You add a couple of those guys, I think they can get up into the top 5. So as much of the panic as there was over the summer, and look, it wasn't great, right? Coming off a national championship, and Ryan Day's only ever had top 5 classes, I believe. I understand some of it. Now, there was the NIL stuff and revenue share, all of that you throw into it. But they've rebounded nicely, and they found some Ohio guys kind of that have blossomed sort of late in the process or in their senior year that they really like. Are they 5-star kids? No, not necessarily. There are some good ones, though. But they've added guys that they think can be difference makers down the road.
And they've been on a hot streak.
Yeah.
Starting last Thursday, it was like been one after another. Like when they didn't have one, I think it was like this past Tuesday, I'm like, what are they doing? There's not a commit today? Like they've been just like flipping guys and like getting like big time guys to commit. So you're right. It was always a good class. We always knew it was going to be a good class, but as they always do, it's looking like a great class. And then there's no doubt they'll do a great job in the transfer portal. They always do. 2024 will be the gold standard. I don't know if you can get better than that, getting like the perfect storm with Saban retiring, because Julian technically was a transfer, Caleb Downs, and then you get guys like Quinshawn and Will Howard. I mean, it was just crazy what they did in 2024. I think they did a good job in the portal this past season, and there's no doubt they're going to do a good job this offseason as well. But you're right. I mean, they've been on a super hot streak with recruiting.
Well, and what's odd, and Ryan Day mentioned this week, there's no spring portal. So assuming Ohio State goes far in the playoff, which I think we both think they will, like you're doing that, you're trying to bring in portal guys. We don't have this second opportunity to go out and kind of fill holes, right? Which is why this class is probably going to end with roughly like 30 guys, because you need the bodies. Like you can't rely on, hey, we'll just figure it out in the transfer portal necessarily. What if there's a position you need that, and there just isn't a guy that makes sense to bring in from the transfer portal? So it's a kind of different equation now without that secondary window.
Up next, we're going to switch gears and talk about the Ohio State basketball program. Also, a Buckeye legend is getting a statue. But what do we think about this Ohio State men's basketball team? That's coming up next. This is the Buckeye Show.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, and if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Tri-State Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com. We have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and puts your fandom in drive.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And nobody has more all-wheel drive choices than Toyota. Now through December 1st, get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 RAV4 or RAV4 hybrid. Or lease a new gas-powered RAV4 LE for $289 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
4 out of 5 dentists recommend this show. The other dentist is a Michigan fan. Yuck! You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Welcome back to The Buckeye Show. Beamer has the evening off. I am Dave Biddle. I'm joined by Patrick Murphy, producer Nate Putterbaugh at the controls. Let's talk some Ohio State men's basketball. Before we get to what we think about this team, they got a big game coming up this Sunday at home against Notre Dame, and both teams are 3-0. Jerry Lucas got a statue unveiled today. Yeah. That's really, really, really cool. I mean, he was obviously the linchpin of Ohio State's lone national championship team in 1960, 3-time All-American. That's really awesome, and you were there covering it.
Yeah, it was cool. They did it right outside. That would be the northwest, I believe, entrance to the shot, the rotunda there. It's sitting out front. Why it's not over in the opposite corner on Lane Avenue and whatever that is there that everybody would see when they drive by, I'm not sure. But it is there if you want to go see it, if you're going to the game on Sunday, if you happen to be over there tomorrow before the Buckeye game. Cool statue. Really neat. A lot of people there. Mike DeWine spoke. Ross B. York, several people who were either know Jerry well, played with Jerry, and then the man himself. A lot of talk about him off the court and just, his brain. Like, several people talked about his memory. He memorized the New Testament. Wow. Memorized the whole thing. He spent 6 hours a day reading it. He also has a thing he talked about where you give him a word and he spells it in alphabetical order, off the top. He did Ohio State University, just standing there on the podium. And how old we looked this up before. How old did you say he was?
He's 85, correct, Nate?
That is the correct answer.
Yeah. You wouldn't know it. I mean, he obviously, he's older, frailer than he once was. But you listen to him talk, and the man is as sharp as ever. I was not obviously privileged enough to watch him play, but I've seen plenty of highlights. Incredible player. And he talked about how he started playing basketball in the 4th grade, wasn't very good. He spent 12 to 18 hours a day working on basketball. And it was like a mental thing for him. How can I get better at this? That's always his driving force. He's still trying to help with literacy and kids. He goes to classrooms and things like this. So just really impressive, obviously on the court and what he accomplished, but speaks volumes to kind of what the standard is. There's only 5 statues at Ohio State, and he's now one of them. Yeah,
that's awesome. And I'm so glad he got a chance to enjoy it with his family.
Yeah.
While he's still alive and kicking and in a good state of mind. That is awesome.
Yeah, Woody was there. Archie was there.
If Woody was there, that'd be crazy.
Just looking back. No, Archie was there. Archie was the last guy to have his statue unveiled, obviously over in front of the horseshoe. He was there to support him. So, legends right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's talk about what we think about this Ohio State basketball team. They're 3-0. There have been some inauspicious moments, we'll say, on defense, but they're 3-0. They host Notre Dame on Sunday. Both teams are 3-0. ESPN's Basketball Power Index gives Ohio State a 75% chance of winning that game. Where are you at on this Ohio State team? About where you thought they'd be? What are your expectations? Are they going to be a tournament team? Can they win a game or two in the tournament? Are they going to miss the tournament? Where are you at with this Buckeye basketball team?
I think they are a tournament team. I'm interested to watch them against Notre Dame because the first 3 games have been teams that you knew they were going to win. Even the other night on Tuesday when they're down, I think it was 22-10 or something early in the game. I was not concerned that there was an upset brewing here. They were taking good shots. They just weren't making them. So is there a defensive concern? I think a little bit. They don't have, Christoph Tilley, the center, 7-footer, but he's not a defensive stopper. He's not going to block a ton of shots, things like that. Rebounding is also a little bit of an issue. So it'll be interesting to see as they play better teams, as they get into the Big Ten. But the pace that they play and the offensive caliber that they have, the passing, the ball movement, I think is really good. and I think will serve them well. Bruce Thornton on a mission. He scored career high 38 points 2 games ago. That guy wants to not leave. This is obviously his senior year. Doesn't want to leave without playing in the big dance. So I'm optimistic about this team. I have been all off season. I think maybe some of the things I thought about them have changed a little bit, but that I don't think changes my overall outlook on where this team can be. Remember, last year with the roster that I think made way less sense, they were probably 1 win away from getting into the tournament.
And they did a much better job. I know there was a low bar. Much better job in the portal. I mean, my goodness. Yeah. I mean, Micah Parrish was a good get. Everybody else was like, they say in baseball you have like wins above replacement. All the other guys were like, like negative WAR guys. Like, they were like worse than just replacement level players. Like Bradshaw was like a net negative. Stewart sometimes might have been a net positive, but sometimes was a net negative. But overall, they did a terrible job in the portal. And I'm not acting like they did a great job this year, but Christoph Tilley was a good get. Brandon Knoll was a good get. And I think Gabe Cupps was a good get.
Yeah, I like all of them. I think they make sense. We're talking about defense. Gabe Cupps talked about after the game the other night, kind of being the head of the spear at the defense, the point of attack guy. He's not a guy who's going to put up a ton of points. He doesn't need to on this team, but he will, guard that lead guard coming down the court, just make life difficult for him. And that takes the pressure of doing that off of Bruce Thornton all game. So that helps. Like I said, Tilley, while not maybe the 7-footer, shot blocker, he's a good passer, a really good passer. He can score. He can shoot threes. Brandon Noel from Wright State. I know you're aware of him. He kind of came alive in that last game offensively too, after some struggles. So yeah, I think and then you add those guys to the core kind of Bruce Thornton, Devin Royal, who did not play, but sounds like he should be back for Notre Dame. Jake Diebler said today that they are how did he put it? Basically very hopeful that he'll be back. He didn't want to put his stamp on it, is how he said it quite yet, but they feel like he should be good to go. And then obviously John Mobley Jr., who played the other night, coming off of an illness, wasn't feeling well most of the day. They didn't think he was going to be able to go. He went out there. It wasn't great, but coming off of something like that, I think not everyone can be Michael Jordan, to cycle back to our earlier conversation.
Or even LeBron James.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I know Tito's not listening to the show, or he would have texted me, I can't believe that you mentioned that. Let's make sure. It still was funny that he did that. Acted like our conversation from 3 months ago was still ongoing. Yeah, I think this team is going to make the NCAA tournament, and they could win a game. I'll be shocked if they get to the Sweet 16. But I do think they're going to make the tournament. As you said, last year, they were on the precipice of making the tournament and barely missed. They were I think next 4 out. I don't know if they were first 4 out, but they were right there, like one of the first 8 teams out. So I do think they're going to get there, and they need to. You can't miss. What would this be? The 5th straight year they've missed the tournament? 4th straight? It's just.
I think it would be 4th straight.
Yeah, that's just. We need more out of this. We were spoiled by Thad Matta, weren't we?
Yeah, and look, if you get in, see what happens. I think you always would take your chance getting in and trying, because we've seen runs of teams that we didn't expect. We've seen teams get knocked out early. So get in, see what happens, and especially if you're hot at the end of the season, which obviously is the goal. I think they certainly have the potential to at least be there, and then you see what you could do.
Yeah, look around the Big Ten. Do you feel like Ohio State can finish? What's reasonable? Top 5 in the Big Ten, or do you think that's a stretch with this? Because the defense, I can't see this team holding up defensively to be top 5. I think they can be top 8 in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. And look, the other night the defense kept them in that game while the offense wasn't going. So maybe if you see more of that, it helps improve what they can do. I think also you look at this coaching staff, this is year 2 for Jake Diebler. Overall, it's not like he was coaching somewhere else. He's an assistant coach. He'd never been a head coach. I think they are learning on the fly too, on what it takes to be successful. And I know there are people that think Ohio State should have somebody who's proven, and I think there's some argument there. But I think what you're seeing, you're talking football recruiting. They just landed a pretty good class. The start of the early signing period was Wednesday with Anthony Thompson, a top 10 player in the country, choosing to stay home in Ohio, which hasn't happened since Jared Sullinger, and Alex Smith, who was an Upper Arlington Golden Bear and then went to a prep school. So, I think Jake's doing some good things. it may not happen as quickly as some people want, but I think getting back to the tournament, like you said, maybe top 8 in the Big Ten is a step in the right direction.
And you look at the rankings, the AP rankings in college basketball, there's 6 Big Ten teams ranked. Ohio State is not one of them, but you look at others receiving votes, they would be 31st.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds about right to me.
Yeah, they hovered right around the rankings a lot most of last year. So, like I said, they're in that conversation for a top 25 team and certainly a tournament team. But Sunday's going to be the first real test to see. And, I hadn't seen the ESPN Basketball Power Index number you threw out there, but it sounds to me like they should win the game.
Yeah, 75% for those that are just tuning in. ESPN's BPI gives the Buckeyes a 75% chance of beating the Fighting Irish on Sunday, a game you can hear right here on The Fan, the flagship station of the Buckeyes. Yeah, I mean, you look at Junie Mobley right now shooting 40% from 3. When I look at the stats, I'm like, if he can shoot 40% from 3 all season, look out.
Yeah, that would be great. I think Jake Diebler would take that. That might break his brother's record shooting at Ohio State. So,
really?
It might.
Yeah, because you just mean how many made? I got you. I thought you meant percentage wise.
Oh yeah. But John's got the green light. There's no doubt about that. What'll be interesting with him? Last year we saw him hit kind of that freshman wall. That was not the role he was supposed to be in. He was supposed to be kind of the guard coming off the bench with Bruce Thornton and Michi Johnson. So now you are in your second year. You've gone through it before. You expect that he's able to carry through a full season and shoot at a high clip. They need him to be that threat. Attracting attention is great, and he certainly does that, but you got to knock down shots, especially in the Big Ten. And he is a smaller guy. So, some of the bigger defenders, he was good at shooting over them last year, but I think he can be more consistent.
All right. Why did Ohio State's football team change the way they grade their champions? Ryan Day will explain that next. This is the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
A lot of hosts have been on our airways in the past 30 years. Some good, some bad, some really bad. Anyway, sorry for that. The Fan.
We've got a double jackpot alert. There's over $1 billion up for grabs right now. Tonight's Ohio Lottery Mega Millions jackpot is at least $965 million. And don't forget your Powerball tickets too, with Saturday's jackpot at $546 million. Play today. It's never too early for holiday scratch-offs from the Ohio Lottery, because with lots of ways to win, 6 great games, and millions in prizes, scratch-offs can turn any day into a holiday.
Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Looking to get your roof or siding replaced this fall? Call the company that delivers an excellent customer experience every time. Newman Roofing. Don't wait. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
This is Ryan Krieger, and at Krieger Ford, we know life's busy. Let us handle your car care. Enjoy our convenient pickup and delivery service, or have our technicians come to you with our mobile service van. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Round here, it's all or nothing. And nobody has more all-wheel drive choices than Toyota. Now through December 1st, get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 RAV4 or RAV4 Hybrid. Or lease a new gas-powered RAV4 LE for $289 a month for 39 months with $36.99 due at signing. With approved credit through TFS. Tax, title, and license extra. Call 1-888-36-TOYOTA for details or go to toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Everyone loves Donato's legendary thin crust, but sometimes you want a little more to grab. That's where Donato's hand-tossed pizza comes in. Golden, delicious, and perfect for dipping in that ranch, marinara, or garlic butter sauce. For a limited time, get a large one-topping hand-tossed pizza plus dipping sauce for just $9.99. Order online using promo code MORE. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Come on over to Heartland
Join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Common Man and Timmy.
Is there anything better than a healthy scratch? When you've got a back itch and your spouse goes to town on that thing, is there anything better?
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by the Hinderer Motor Company.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast-track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement, and that starts with the team who brings your vision to life. Our installers aren't just skilled, they're experts.
This is who we are. This is what we do all day, every day.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. It's time for your daily dose of vitamin B. B stands for Buckeyes, just in case that wasn't clear. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
So Ohio State's football team takes grading out as a champion very seriously, and they should. They should, and they do. And it used to be, as of like a week or two ago, you had to grade out 80% or higher to be a champion. Ryan Day kicked that up to 83%. Why did they change the way they do the grading for the champions? Let's hear from Coach Day.
We just felt like we needed to turn up the volume a little bit the last week, and so we went from 80 to 83. And you might think that's a big deal, like, it may not sound like a big deal, but it is. From 80 to 83 is a big deal, and so, but that's what we're striving for. We want to be the best in what we do. And so there was a couple guys that graded in the 81, 82, right in that range, but it wasn't quite there. And for us to be champions and to reach our goals, we have to get to that point. So that's the idea behind it. I think the guys, but the important thing is they buy into it. I think our guys really buy into it. They understand how important it is. So, whatever type of game it is, if it's always about us, it's about the grading. And then it's the coach's job to make sure that the criteria is accurate and that they're grading it, and being real about it. And so something that really we take serious around here.
Translation, Ryan Day did not want to grade out 2 offensive line players as champions.
That's definitely a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. I think, and it's interesting because this champion's grade goes back to Urban Meyer, and the 80% has been the standard for a while. And I wondered at the time, I was listening to it again to see if I missed anything. Is he talking about the whole team, or was he? Because the question he was answering about was about the offensive line.
I think he meant the entire team, because that'd be pretty weird. He's like, all right, O-line, you guys aren't playing well. We're going to kick it up to 83%. Everybody else can stay at 80.
Each coach does each position coach does their own. And I have heard before that, some guys will grade tougher. Now, whether that changes the percentage, I don't know. But I think it's interesting. You're at a point in the season where you can kind of roll out of bed and probably win these games. And Ohio State has done a good job to avoid that. And if you're looking at last week and thinking, hey, maybe they're getting a little complacent. Okay, we're gonna amp it up a little bit. You want to be a champion? 80% is not good enough anymore. And so I like this move. I think it's interesting. Like he said, that 3% doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're grading every single play, and with the way that they play offense, there's not as many of them. Like 83%, doing your job 83% of the time on the football field is not the easiest thing to do.
To Nate's point, he did mention there was like a guy or two that had like 81% or 82%. Mm-hmm. They weren't a champion this week because they switched the grades up. He's hating on the O-line, isn't he, Nate?
That was immediately what I thought when I saw that happen this week. I was like, okay, 2 guys on the O-line really annoyed Ryan.
Goodness. And I don't think Tegra was in the mix to be a champion, but that screen pass to James Peoples where Tegra just completely whiffed and got James Peoples killed, that wasn't good. But I don't think Tegra was one of those guys that was on the fence of being a champion. And Lincoln Kienholz didn't play enough plays to be a champion. You have to play in at least 15 plays. But he did get his second rushing touchdown of the year. And Coach Day talked about the Lincoln Kienholz package earlier this week.
We've had a couple different packages for Lincoln and hasn't quite, the timing and whatever hadn't quite shown up in the games yet, but that was a good time to hit it, and I thought the whole thing was well executed. I thought the line did a nice job there, and C.J. Donaldson did a good job getting movement, and I thought Lincoln, on contact really drove his legs through it, and so it was good to see him get in the game, and hopefully we can build on it.
Yeah, it's a numbers game, man. When that quarterback can run near the goal line, it gives you a numbers advantage. And when he can't, it gives you a numbers disadvantage. So I don't know how much they're going to use this. I don't know if we can expect, like, if they're the goal line, 15 days from now in Ann Arbor, that they're going to use this, but maybe they will.
Well, I think at the very least it means something that Michigan and other opponents have to prepare for, right? Oh, okay, now they've got a different wrinkle that they can do. And it wasn't just that. I mean, you brought Justin Terry in as that sixth Bison offensive lineman, which they hadn't done most of the season. It had been 4 tight ends on the field when they've gone to that. Defensively, both third down plays to start on Purdue's first drive, they had no defensive tackles on the field. They had Riley Pettijohn in there with Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, Sonny Styles, and one of the I forget who was on the other side, but there were no defensive tackles on the field. They've done a few different wrinkle type things last week in a game where Ryan Day was asked about it afterwards, and he kind of pushed back on the idea that they knew they could win this game, but I think it was definitely let's put this on film, give opponents something to think about. I asked Ryan Day, and he said, you always want to have things you're trying to do, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I think a lot of it has to do with making people think. And I think Lincoln, that package makes a lot of sense. It's ironic that it comes out again there when that was where we first saw Devin Brown, get his carry for a rushing touchdown a couple years back.
Let's talk about some of the guys that filled in last week and then started. Ian Moore with his first career start, pretty cool. He's grew up like an hour away from West Lafayette, has his first career start and played well. This is a big physical young man. Started at right tackle. Hopefully Philip Daniels will be okay. I think he will be. I think it was just precautionary. But Ian Moore has 3 years of eligibility left after this year. He looked really good.
Would you like to hear Ryan Day talking about Ian Moore?
I do want to hear that. Thank you, Nate.
We were talking about this early in the year for guys who maybe hadn't played as much, but they've done a lot in practice, and you see the things in practice, and it leads you to believe they can do it, but they got to go do it in the game. For him, you didn't really notice him in the game. That's a good sign. Now, we look at it, with a critical eye and see the things that he can get better at. But for a first start, like you said, it's got to give him confidence, saying, okay, no, I can do this, man. I can play in the Big Ten, and here are the things I know I got to get better at. But here are the things that I did well, and so he's got to now have the mindset that he's going to play in these games and be an asset for us moving forward. So I think we all see the potential there. He's still a young player, still growing and learning, but good start for him.
Yeah, what were your impressions, Patrick? Didn't notice him, so that's good.
Yeah, I agree. And when you go back and watch him, I think there were some really good plays. He did a good job picking up some things. I think Purdue tried to attack him a little bit with some different stunts and things that he handled pretty well. Now, if he has to play going forward or has to play in the playoff, there's going to be bigger tests than Purdue's defensive line. But for a first start, I don't know how much heads up he had that he was going to be the starter. It didn't sound like a ton.
I think he found out Thursday.
Yeah, so I think it's I think it was a really positive thing. And even if it's not this year, next year, if they do decide to move some things around in the offensive line, you've got a guy there. Look, as we saw last year, depth on the offensive line, quality depth on the offensive line isn't a bad thing. But yeah, I thought it was really, really productive for me.
At right guard, it's interesting. Obviously, Tegra has not been grading out well. He's been the one that's been rotating out of the game. The other 4 guys really do not rotate out of the game when the game's on the line. Tegra has. First was Onionwa, then it was Padilla. Padilla's banged up. I've had people ask me, well, what if they think Ian Moore's the guy at right tackle? Could Philip Daniels bump in to right guard? I don't know.
Yes, we've seen it. Remember Paris Johnson playing that position for a season. But Philip Daniels has the body of a tackle, and they're just bigger. I think you worry a little bit about, the interior defensive linemen sort of getting underneath them a little bit.
Tegra's got the body of a tackle too, though.
That's true. Yeah. So, it's definitely possible, but I think, you hope Josh Padilla gets back. We saw Gabe Van Sickle. I think he played 3 snaps at right guard, with the first team offense. So that's a possibility. Look, I think that the Tegra stuff, I don't see them just benching him at this point. Like, you're so far into this year, it would have to get pretty bad. And I do think we've seen it, and you and I talked about this earlier this week, like when Tegra's pushed, when they are rotating, you look at his play in the playoff last year, was it perfect? No, but I don't know if it's the mentality of like, oh, this guy's on my tail, or if it's, hey, I need a break because, maybe I need to check the iPad and then I can come back in and I play better. Whatever it is, like, I do think he rises to the occasion in situations like this, and you hope that Josh Padilla is back and can push him. And, if it comes to needing to make the change, fine, make the change. But it wouldn't surprise me if they stick with that rotation.
It sounds like all the guys that were, and we don't know about Padilla. It sounds like the other guys that were on the fence last week are all going to play this week. I mean, you look at, I've had somebody ask me this morning, what about Carnell Tate? I'm like, well, I think he could have played last week. It was precautionary. By the way, Carnell Tate has 2 games left at Ohio Stadium. One is tomorrow night. Could he technically come back next year? Yes. Is he going to? No. He's protected as a first-round pick by everybody. He's got 2 games left at Ohio Stadium. He's playing, in my opinion. Tywone Malone's another guy. I'm curious who's going to start between him and Edric Houston, because Edric played well last week. I think Ty is going to be back. I think most of the guys that missed last week, Quincy Porter's another one that should be back. I don't know about Padilla, but it sounds like those other guys, especially Carnell Tate, will be back tomorrow night.
You would hope so, but I think if you are Ohio State and there is any lingering issue, this is an okay game to hold them out, just like it was last week.
All right, first hour of the show is in the books. Please stick around for the second hour. This is the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvis weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Life sometimes is about being in the right place at the right time. For example, maybe you're a huge Buckeye fan. You want to go to a Buckeye game. You want to get tickets, but they're tough to get. Maybe you also need new windows for your house. Maybe you sit next to them and you feel that cold, drafty air coming in. You say, oh, if only there was a way I could address both of these concerns at the same time. Well, good news. With Window Nation's end-of-year sale this November, you could save big on windows that fix that draftiness issue. You'll save 50% off all window styles, plus you could get 0% interest financing for 5 years. But you're saying, T-Bone, I also said I wanted to go to a Buckeye game. Well, good news. Window Nation is a proud partner of Ohio State Athletics. And right now, when you upgrade your home with Window Nation windows, you could get 2 tickets to an upcoming Ohio State game. See? Right place, right time. WindowNation.com is where you go to get started today. 50% off all window styles plus 0% financing for 5 years this month from Window Nation. Schedule your free estimate today. WindowNation.com.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up, but it was tough.
Ohio State National Championship quarterback and former CareSource kid, Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction, but I also needed the right support system. Seeing that CareSource heart around town, I just knew they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. This is so much more than health insurance. CareSource, today and always. Trusted. Visit caresource.com.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus, The Fan.
Good evening, I'm Nate Putterball with your sports update. Ohio State is honoring the great Jerry Lucas all weekend long. Earlier today, his statue was unveiled outside the Schottenstein Center. Check it out Sunday when the men's basketball team takes on Notre Dame at the Schott at 12:30. The Ohio State women's basketball team is also in action on Sunday. They're heading out to #1 UConn. Jerry Lucas will also be in attendance tomorrow night as the top-ranked Buckeyes take on UCLA at the Shoe at 7:30. Lucas will be ringing the victory bell before the game. In college football tonight, it's a doubleheader in the ACC and Big Ten. Clemson heads to #20 Louisville tonight at 7:30, and it's Big Ten after dark as Minnesota visits #8 Oregon at 9 o'clock. The Browns and Bengals return to the field this weekend. Cincinnati heads up to Pittsburgh Sunday at 1, and the Browns play host to Baltimore at 4:25. And in top 25 action tonight in college basketball, #5 Arizona heads out to #15 UCLA, and top 10 Duke, Kentucky, and Michigan are all in action. Breaking sports news, what happens to the Fan, Ohio Sports Destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Take it away, Nate.
Playoff talk. That's what we're doing this evening because there's nothing going on in sports today. You've heard my update just a minute ago. There is nothing happening in sports today. So let's just talk some contenders and pretenders.
That sounds good to me. I mean, like, there's no gambling scandal that broke today. No pitchers throwing balls in the dirt. Nothing like that, huh? No gambling scandals.
They came down to Michigan State on Wednesday. That's not relevant to talk about it anymore.
Let's get into how many legit national championship contenders we think there are in college football this year. I mean, you could make the argument that whoever makes the CFP has a chance. I would argue against that. I've got about 5, maybe 6 legit national championship contenders. Ohio State. I feel like the Buckeyes are kind of in the tier by themselves. They're the clear favorite. And then I have Indiana, I have Texas A&M. A lot of people are blowing off A&M. This is different, though. I mean, Mike Elko's a good coach. Marcel Reed's a good quarterback. And this is a good A&M team. That was a good hire by Ross Bjork down there, getting Mike Elko at A&M. I have Alabama as a legit contender. I have Georgia as a legit contender. And I'll throw Texas Tech in there and make it 6. I got 6, Patrick. How many you got?
Yeah, I'm probably in agreement. I have to be honest.
Maybe Notre Dame.
I have watched very little Texas Tech. I've caught bits and pieces of their game while other games have been on. So that one's tough for me to say one way or the other. All these others I've seen at least a couple times. Yeah, I think Notre Dame with the way they're playing right now. And I think, look, Oregon, I know it hasn't been as good as it was a year ago. But you get them, it's just a lot of talent on that team. It's a young team, a youngish team, relatively inexperienced team. But I think you get in the playoff, I think they have every bit as much of a chance as some of these other, really starting after the undefeated teams. I think they're right there. Alabama's interesting because they have won, obviously, since that opening loss against Florida State. But even a couple weeks ago, or was it last week? Yeah, last week against LSU, it ends 20-9, but that game was closer than expected at home for most of that game. LSU fought.
They almost lost to South Carolina.
Yeah, it was crowd against South Carolina.
Yeah, so look, I think Alabama's got the talent, no doubt, to be able to, win a national championship. But, there isn't really, as much as Ohio State has been dominant, it's not like they are blowing teams out, intentionally so. So there doesn't appear to be, from a 3,000 mile viewpoint, that clear dominant team, even though we know what the Buckeyes are likely capable of.
I love how we talk about every game matters, week 1 matters as much as week 12, all this. Everybody's just glossing over the fact you mentioned. Alabama lost to a bad Florida State team 31-17. Do we act like that's a preseason game because it's week 1, or we act like that's a real game?
Yeah, no, I think it has to count, and the committee members have talked about it. New committee chair this week.
Yes, how about that?
Which will be interesting.
Yeah,
But,
what do you make of that real quick?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked into why Mac Rhodes has decided to step down, because he stepped down at Texas A&M as well as the AD, right? He's taking some time, it sounds like.
Baylor,
excuse me.
Well, he already was in trouble for what was he yelling at one of the coaches and one of the players? So he was already reprimanded for that. But they're saying that has nothing to do with this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Either they're lying or he's got in hot water for something else on top of that less than a week later.
I'll be interested to see how they handle it, but yeah, peculiar, no doubt about it. And I thought he's been really good. He's been very candid, more so than the past on some of these. So I've actually really liked what he's brought to it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, maybe bring Boo back.
Yeah.
Hey, Boo.
Hey, Boo. But yeah, I mean, look, they've mentioned that these early season losses count, but also the way you're playing right now, and Alabama, obviously, the running off these wins the way they have, it's so weird because you can make the argument, well, Ohio State hasn't played anybody who's currently in the rankings, but the rankings are so
except Texas.
Well, yeah, except
number 10 Texas.
Well, kind of like how that first week of the season suddenly doesn't count.
It doesn't count.
To your point.
First week, right? Yeah. Texas, that doesn't count.
I think it was conference play. They haven't played any ranked teams, but the rankings are, even though the college football playoff does their own rankings, the AP poll and the coaches poll impact the way they think about teams, right? And so it's hard to, when you're going to rank 27 SEC teams, it's hard to get that out of your head that, okay, well, Alabama's been really good because they've beaten X amount of ranked teams. Well, some of these teams probably shouldn't have been ranked. Washington took forever to get ranked. And, obviously they've now fallen off.
That proved why. I was saying all along, Washington should be ranked, and then they lose to Wisconsin. It's never mind.
Tennessee is still ranked and still has yet to beat a team over 500.
Yeah, that's weird.
And LSU took forever to drop out of the rankings as well. So, it's interesting. It's interesting how this all works, but it's the world we live in.
USC has a legitimate chance of making the playoff. Now, it's not going to be easy. They host Iowa tomorrow. It's at 3:30. It's on Big Ten Network tomorrow. If they win that game, basically they have an all or nothing game at Oregon the next week because they're going to beat UCLA at him. That game's at the Coliseum. Not that it really would matter. They're going to beat UCLA in their last game. So if they beat Iowa tomorrow, they have a game at Oregon next week where, USC 10-2, they're a lock to make the playoff.
Yeah. And they switch out their punter for a quarterback, which apparently was illegal. No, last Friday night, I got to watch them as closely as I have all season just because they were the Friday night game. And, this is what I thought Lincoln Riley would bring to USC right away. And it's taken a few years, but are they, the USC of Pete Carroll and the Heisman winners and stuff, Reggie Bush and his mom getting a house, all that? No, but they are much closer than they've been. Since Ohio State played them in the Cotton Bowl? Was that the last time there was a real decent USC
that was
team?
Sam Darnold, wasn't it? Nick Bosa gave him nightmares after that.
I swore up and down that the Browns needed to draft Sam Darnold after that game. It took 8 years, but I feel vindicated now with how he's played.
I know Baker's doing pretty good too.
Yeah, I mean they didn't go wrong with their pick. They just handled it wrong afterwards.
Actual question with that USC-Oregon game. Assuming USC wins, does 2-loss Oregon get bumped out of the playoffs?
Perhaps.
With no real wins to their name.
Perhaps, because what are they sitting at right now? Are they 9th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they lose that. Then
they moved up to 8th.
They're 8th. They probably get knocked down to 11th or 12th. And if you're 11th or 12th in the rankings, you're not going to make it because a group of 5 teams is going to make it over you.
Yeah.
And maybe the ACC champ would be ranked behind you, but make it over you.
Their best win is Iowa. Because, obviously the Penn State win looked good at the time, but now you look at it and you're you had to go to double overtime against Penn State. Now, I do think people look at that game and are like, hey, it was still the whiteout. It was still a nighttime game there. So, that still matters to some degree. But, yeah, I mean, it's big for both of those teams. That game's going to be huge.
And we don't want to talk about the fact that if a certain team from Ann Arbor wins out, they would also be in the CFP for sure.
Yeah, they definitely would. They'd also be in the Big Ten championship. I think they'd be in the Big Ten championship, assuming they went out, right?
Because they would, because if Indiana wins out,
it depends if Indiana loses or not.
Yes, if Indiana wins out, then Michigan would go.
Okay.
Not that it's going to happen, right? I mean, I said that last year, though. I'm like, Ohio State's not going to lose this year. Let's look ahead to 15 days from now. If you're the Buckeyes, how confident are you? Let's say the weather's bad and you have to run the ball, but this Ohio State defense, man, is so good. And Michigan's one-dimensional. How confident do you think the Buckeyes should be going to Michigan here in 15 days?
I think you should definitely be confident. I think you should have been confident last year, and they went in. I think the biggest thing is, there's two things, actually. One, you have to go in there as the defending national champions, the number one team in the country. Like, I don't want you to be overconfident or cocky, but you should handle this the same way you have every game. You are the big dog, right? And, yeah, Michigan's a solid team this year and all that, and, yeah, there's the rivalry, but put that aside. Go win a football game. And then the other thing is the most obvious thing, and that's Ryan Day and the staff not impeding by their play calling what this team can do. If the weather's bad, you still have to be able to throw it, at least to some degree, right? We've seen C.J. Stroud up there not too long ago in snow flurries and whatnot. Now, Ohio State lost that game, but it wasn't because of what C.J. did or that offense. So you need to get back to playing Ohio State football in that game, and it doesn't mean you have to prove anything. And I don't think Ryan Day needs to prove anything. He won a national title last year throwing the ball around. Go out there and plan to throw the ball around. That doesn't mean you don't have to run it some, but that whole, the team that runs the ball the best wins the game. Like, I will be nervous if Ryan Day brings that up multiple times in his press conference that week, because that means it's back in his head, and it shouldn't be. Like, that stat is irrelevant if you can throw the ball for 400 yards in that game.
Like I've talked about, I almost understand going into last year's games thinking Michigan can't move the ball on us. Like, we've got it, because Ohio State had the best defense in the country last year too. We're going to play man ball. We're going to show them. We're going to run right at their 2 first-round defensive tackles. I almost understand that going into the game, but when it's not working, they never adjusted. And I know Will Howard got banged up. He probably had a concussion, but he threw his only touchdown pass after that.
Yeah. Well, that 2-minute drill, it was like, okay, they got it. This is okay. They've figured it out. They clicked back into gear, and they come out of halftime. It's the same stuff.
Right.
Then you have the Jack Sawyer interception. It's like, this kid finally, this Columbus kid finally gets a big moment. He's going to remember for the rest of his life. Turns out that actually happened about a month later, right. Or 2 months later, I guess. But that seems like, okay, the turning point. You got the ball back, drive the field, score the touchdown. You're going to win this game. Like, I think the biggest thing, it doesn't matter how you win that game. Just win. Like, no one's going to talk about, Ohio State's not tough enough because you won the game by throwing the ball. Who cares? Like, the only reason this happened was because Michigan won in 2021, and an assistant coach got on a podcast running his mouth talking about how, they were tougher than the Buckeyes. And, like, that day they were. But if you win the game, he's not saying that.
Ohio State and UCLA are playing football tomorrow for the first time in 24 years. We're going to talk about it next. This is the Buckeye Show.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Shop the Meijer 2-day super sale this Friday and Saturday for a good deal better on family favorites. 3-pound bags of select apples are just $1.99 each. Select varieties of Michelina's frozen meals are 88 cents. And select varieties of Aunt Millie's bread are buy one, get one free. Plus, stack your savings. Spend $100 or more between November 12th and the 18th and receive a $10 coupon at checkout. Getting savings on top of savings. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Runyon from Runyon Dental Group. Are you missing teeth or do you have uncomfortable dentures? Dental implants can not only transform your smile, they can restore your confidence and allow you to eat those foods you love that you've been missing. When I was in my early 30s, I was in a similar situation needing complex dental work and dental implants. I understand all the emotions that you're feeling because I've been the patient and I know that we can help you. Schedule a free consultation today at runyondentalgroup.com. That's runyondentalgroup.com.
Save time, reduce costs, and eliminate printer frustrations with Modern Office Methods, your award-winning managed print services provider. We know how to help your business reduce the cost of office printing by identifying necessary print and paper waste. We can improve your printer fleet and decrease the amount of printer frustration. Why wait? Start saving time and money today. Start with our comprehensive print fleet assessment by going to momnet.com and click on free assessment.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live. There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the Scarlet and Gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Wake up and laugh with the Bob and Tom Show on the Fan 2.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 10.
It says here they've won 5 Marconi Awards. I can't even spell Marconi. The Fan 2, Columbus's home of the Bob and Tom Show.
Hosting a passionate crew of Buckeye fans? Revamp your rec room for an epic watch party with power reclining sofas, massaging recliners, entertainment centers, and coffee tables from Bob's. They even have sofas with drop-down tables for snacks and bevs. Shop in-store or online to score big on an incredible game day setup at Bob's everyday low prices. Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. This is Paul Keels for RV Wholesalers. Peace of mind. That's what you get when purchasing your next RV from RV Wholesalers. With every new RV purchase, Ohio residents receive the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. If your RV is in the shop, RV Wholesalers will give you a free loaner. Also with a Buckeye Service Guarantee, you'll receive free delivery in the state of Ohio and 3-day RV exchange. That's the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. Only at RV Wholesalers in Lakeview, Mansfield, Delaware, and RVW.com. RV Wholesalers, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens. We're looking at quiet weather tonight. Temperatures down in the upper 40s with mostly to partly cloudy skies and a stray sprinkle or two possible. As we head into Saturday, cloudy skies and sprinkles remain possible. We'll see a chance for a light shower through the late afternoon into the evening. Shouldn't cause major impacts to football games like the Buckeyes out there, but overall expect a mild forecast with temperatures in the 60s. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
We're very close to Buckeye football. Very close. Uncomfortably close. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Welcome back to The Buckeye Show. I am Dave Biddle. I'm joined by Patrick Murphy, producer Nate Putterball at the controls. So this will be the first time Ohio State and UCLA have met since 2001. It was Jim Tressel's second game as Ohio State's head coach. It was the first game after 9/11. Ohio State was supposed to play San Jose State the Saturday after 9/11. That got postponed. So it was their first game after 9/11. UCLA won 13-6. Patrick Murphy, was not a good day for Ohio State's offense at the Rose Bowl that day. Their only touchdown was a defensive touchdown by Mike Doss. All right. We're going to play high or low. Okay, Ohio State's total yards. Can you guess Ohio State's total offensive yards in that game?
Based on the way you're saying
I know.
this?
Probably not 5 million, huh?
Yeah. Let's go 175.
Very close.
Okay.
Very close. He's within, give him the ding. He doesn't get the prices right, losing horn. 166.
Okay.
166.
That is a bad day. Especially, obviously it was a little bit different football then, but by today's standards, oh boy.
By 2004 standards.
It was by 2001. I was seriously thinking, because like they beat Akron like 21-10 in Tressel's first game. I think it was Akron. And I was thinking, okay, well, I mean, okay. And then this was the second game, and I'm thinking, oh my God, the offense couldn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, geez, we might be in trouble here, or going to win the national championship the next year. All right, let me ask you this. So we talked about Julian Sand earlier. He's about 81% completion percentage. Guess Steve Belisari's completion percentage in that game in 2001. He was a third-year starter as a senior. Steve Belisari against UCLA in 2001. Guess his completion percentage in the game.
You mean future Rams safety?
Future sixth-round draft pick by the St. Louis Rams as a safety.
52.3%.
You're not even close.
Okay. What was it?
21.7. 21.7. He was 5 of 23. 5 of 23 for 45 yards.
Is that good?
It's not great. It's not considered great. His quarterback rating was shouldn't be playing quarterback. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, that's not ideal if you're trying to win a football game.
We went through a bad stretch of quarterbacks with the Buckeyes, and then now we've gone through just an amazing stretch of quarterbacks. All right, let's talk about tomorrow. So the Buckeyes favored by 31.5. Again, first time these teams have played since that game we were referencing 24 years ago. Your gut feeling, you think the Buckeyes are going to come out there and just smother them? Because that's my gut feeling.
Yeah, look, I think if you think the games are going to look different than they have the last however many weeks, it's Ohio State. Usually the other team has a drive. The defense adjusts. They don't have a drive the rest of the game. Ohio State moves the ball. They move it fairly methodically. They score somewhere between 30 and 38 points, and you get out of there with a comfortable win. I think there's a potential tomorrow to score a little bit more, but it also depends how they want to do it. Like, do you want to focus on the run game in this game because you're playing a bad rush defense just to get the confidence up? If you can get Bo Jackson to get one of those 70-yarders or get, some of these other running backs to have, average 5 yards a carry or things like that. Get James Peoples going, Isaiah West. Like, maybe it's not as much of a let's take some shots downfield. But I think Ohio State's done a really good job of just, hey, this is what the defense is doing. We're going to take what's given to us. And sometimes that doesn't result in the dominant scoreline because they're not forcing the issue and they're not trying to play fast. But, every win has been controlled and comfortable, and I imagine it's the same on tomorrow.
Deshaun Foster was the leading rusher in that 2001 game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, 29 carries for 66 yards. 2.3 yards per carry.
Yeah.
Ohio State's defense played great in that game. Deshaun Foster, we thought he'd be making the trip to Columbus for this one. He is not. This is not the first time Ohio State will be facing an interim head coach this year. Let's hear from Ryan Day on facing new head coaches.
That's sort of the mentality they've had. They've had four punts. They've done an onside kick. They're letting it roll.
Right.
And they're running fake punts against safe where you have your defense out there. So they're just going. So we have to expect the unexpected. They had a coordinator change on defense. After that change, so he kind of came in and wasn't really part of the staff and then took over and did his whole deal. So it's a little bit different. But I give them all credit. The kids are playing hard. And that's a tribute to the guys that are there, and not only just the culture of the program at UCLA, but how those coaches are doing to keep it all together, and the players. They're playing hard, and Nico's really the leader of that group. It seems like to me from afar.
Yeah, they ran off those 3 straight wins when the new staff took over. I mean, Rick Neuheisel's son looks like he's like 14 years old. I was like, who's that kid that looks like a 14-year-old Rick Neuheisel? And I was like, oh, that's Rick Neuheisel's son, Jerry. He's doing a good job. But they've lost their last 2. They've come back to earth, but clearly playing much better than they were early this season.
I think they've definitely come back to earth. I mean, blown out by Indiana, which you kind of expect. But if they're turning things around, you hope that game's closer if you're a UCLA fan. And then Nebraska, remember, Dylan Raiola out for the season. That was a freshman quarterback they played against. And it was a close game score-wise, but I don't know if they were ever really, really in it. Yeah, I mean, I had our guy Mike from the 24/7 Sports UCLA site do our questions. He answered my questions on our site, and he was not optimistic about UCLA coming to Columbus and having much success. And
I would question him if he was excited about this or optimistic. Like, what are you optimistic about coming to Columbus?
Right. I mean, even some of our people on the message boards were like, wow, he's really down on UCLA. I responded, it's been a rough season for these guys out there. If it gives you any sense of kind of how everyone's viewing things, at least on the 24/7 Sports guys, I don't know about the rest of them, they are not sending anybody to this game. It's basketball season in Westwood.
They're ranked in basketball.
They are, yeah. I mean, it's a basketball school.
It is. It is. They've won many titles there. They haven't won one in a while. In the 90s, was that their last one? Was that Ed O'Bannon and the guys?
Yeah, maybe.
Tyus Edney?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. They're definitely not a football school. Although the all-time record, Ohio State and UCLA, 4-4-1. So it's time for the Buckeyes to get the edge on the Bruins. What are you looking forward to seeing the most tomorrow? Is it like low-hanging fruit where if you're from a Buckeye perspective, you want to see the running game clicking, you want to see the offensive line playing well, or is there something else you're really keeping a close eye on?
1995 was their last men's basketball national title, by the way.
Bam.
Yeah, look, I think it's just building on what you've done all year. Come out and take care of business, first of all. Make sure you're not looking ahead. You're not thinking about something else. And the Buckeyes have done a good job of that. And we talked about, raising the standards with the championship grades. But, yeah, I mean, if you could have a 200-yard rushing day or more, total, not just one guy, I think that would do a lot for confidence in the run game. If you could be a little bit cleaner in pass protection, Julian Sain's done a great job of avoiding rushes when they have come his way. If you can get him a clean pocket, I think that would be good to see. And then on defense, I mean, you just got to keep doing what you're doing. Like, they've just been so good. Obviously this is a different test than they've seen in a little bit with Nico and his ability to run, and he will run. But they have shown that they are able to contain the pocket and keep guys locked in earlier in the season.
I'm looking at our staff predictions on Bucknuts, and you have Ohio State covering the spread.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
You have Ohio State 38, UCLA 6. The spread is 31.5. I'm a little more bullish on the Buckeyes. I have Ohio State winning 45-3. But you have Ohio State covering, and that's a pretty big point spread. But again, they've only not covered twice this year. Once was against Ohio University, where they missed by a half point. Last week they did not cover. Purdue got that backdoor touchdown against the second-team defense. Couple of 15-yard penalties on that drive, which I was like, really? Seriously? But yeah, we both have Ohio State covering this massive spread tomorrow, Patrick.
Yeah, I think they should. Not that needs to be in the minds of Ryan Day or these players or anything. But like you said earlier, good teams win, great teams cover. I think this is a great team. And this is a UCLA team. They certainly haven't quit. Like, that 3-game winning streak that they had earlier this year shows that, they're fighting with the interim coach and stuff. But this is not a game that should be competitive.
Question from our YouTube chat that I want to get to. You can follow the show, the Buckeye Show, on 97.1 The Fan, the YouTube page. From Craig, he says, guys, now that the portal can fill anything you missed in a recruiting class, does the recruiting ranking really matter? What say thee, Patrick Murphy?
I think it matters in the sense that you want, as Urban Meyer used to say, if they're keeping score, you want to win, right? And so, yeah, you're going to find guys in the portal to complement things and whatnot. And I think Ohio State's done a really good job of that. But this program is built on recruits. And so does it matter as much? Probably not, because you can say, okay, in 2 years, you could say, oh, we missed here. Okay, let's go find a guy. You hope that guy's in there. You obviously don't have control over that. But I do think that it still matters. Like, you want to be one of the best teams in the country. You have to recruit well. Or else I think you're going to get in this habit of like, well, now we have to replace. It's almost becoming college basketball where you're going to have to replace full rosters almost. And I don't think you want to get in the habit of that.
Yeah, is it going to be the lifeblood of the program, which we've said for years about recruiting? Maybe not so much, but it's still extremely important. Yeah, the portal is important, but look at 2024. Mm-hmm. They did a great job in the portal. They also had some pretty good recruits in that class, like Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad.
And Edric Houston.
Yep, also good.
Also good, not as good as Jeremiah, but maybe he's
It's hard to be.
Maybe he's coming on. Yeah, that is true. I tell you what, Ohio State and Michigan disagree about a lot of things. One of those is the private capital plan that the Big Ten is kicking around. Let's talk about that next. This is the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
You know, most people will agree with this. Life is a lot better without pain and more comfort. Hey, it's Anthony. I used to buy the over-the-counter insoles, thinking that just the cushion itself would solve everything. It didn't. So I finally got serious about support. I went to the Good Feet store where I was personally fitted for arch supports. I started feeling relief, more stability, and stuff stopped aching. My lower back felt better. I don't care whether you're an athlete or you're retired. Get greater comfort and confidence from personally fit arch supports from the Good Feet store. That's because their arch supports are designed to align your body from the feet up, and they can help provide relief from pain and discomfort like it has for me. They have an expert staff trained to understand your specific needs, and they recommend the best solutions. It's simple. Just stop by the Good Feet store at one of their convenient locations on Polaris Parkway or Stringtown Road in Grove City, or, of course, learn more, a lot more, at goodfeet.com.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
Picture it. Your holiday table, the family cooking together, the scent of golden brown bread, rosemary from roasted potatoes, and a salad so crisp it snaps, spiced cider in every glass, laughter around every plate. At Kroger, we know these moments matter, and we make it easier to bring them to life with quality that's affordable in every aisle. This season, don't just host, make every moment unforgettable. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Someone out there probably thinks we spend too much time talking about the Buckeyes. Please tell someone that they're stupid. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
All right, as I'm sure you guys have heard, the Big Ten is kicking around the idea of, getting an infusion of capital from private capital. It's not the same as private equity. It might be, kind of semantics. And it seems like 16 of the schools are, if not cool with this, or at least doing their due diligence and maybe leaning toward the side of going ahead with it. Michigan and USC are not in favor of it, and Michigan is pretty boisterous about the fact that they hate this idea. And I find this interesting. And it comes down to me, Patrick, where it might not be this simple, but it's pretty close to this simple from my perspective. If Ohio State wants to have 36 varsity sports, which is the largest athletic department in the country by a wide margin, for example, like Oregon has 18 varsity sports. So Oregon has half of the varsity sports that Ohio State does. If Ohio State wants to have 34 sports that are losing money, football makes money, men's basketball makes a little bit of money, the other 34 lose money. They want to keep having those other 34 sports. They do need an infusion of capital. I'm not saying this is the way to do it, but they do need that, or some of those sports are going to go away. Or they just need to cut some of those sports like a lot of other programs have to get down to maybe more like 24 varsity sports. Where do you come down on this?
Ideally, I think you want to see them keep all of the sports. Is this the way to do it? I don't know. Right. It's just so tough to say because we've never seen this happen before, right? I mean, you can compare it, like you were saying, to private equity and things like that, but it's not really the same. Like it's, we just haven't seen it. And so does it work? Does it not work? I don't know. I think Ohio State is really only interested in doing it if they know that it helps Ohio State. You've got to take care of number one first, right? And
Ross has said that.
Yes.
Ross Bjork, yes.
Yeah. And so, I guess I trust the people involved that are doing the math and all this stuff at home, because I'm certainly not. But, I know it's been a priority of Ross's to not have to cut these sports, which is difficult in today's day and age, no doubt about it.
What do you make of Michigan's stance? They're not just coming out saying like, yeah, we're not sure about this. We think we might be against it. Like they're Bernstein from their board of trustees, the head of their board of trustees, is like saying things like, this is like a payday loan. And he doesn't mean that literally. It's not the same thing as a payday loan. But like what do you make of Michigan's stance on this?
Yeah, I mean, look, each program is going to have their own perspective. I guess my question would be, if you have the opportunity, everyone needs more money right now, right? Now, what are you giving up on the other end, right? Like, what is it that you lose? Because this isn't just, if it were just, hey, they're going to give you money, everyone would do it, right? Like, I'd sign up. You're going to pay me to not do anything, but you've got to, there's got to be something on the other end. And I guess that's the question of like, what does this look like 5-10 years down the road?
And for those that have not been up to speed on this, the way it would work would be the Big Ten would be giving up 10% of, its TV revenue to this private. It's really a pension fund in California is what it is. It's actually a public fund. It's not even a private equity fund, but it's basically the same thing. It's really semantics. But Ohio State would get a bigger cut than most of the other Big Ten. You'd have the top tier would be Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. If this goes through, Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State would each get $190 million. So this pension fund would give a total of $2 billion across the Big Ten. Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State would get the highest cut of that. Again, like you were saying, it's like, man, this doesn't seem like the way to do it, but like we don't know what all the options are. $190 million just given to you sounds good, but then you're giving up 10% of your equity going forward.
Yeah, it's definitely a short-term thing in the hopes that everybody sort of gets this all figured out and is able to sustain without something like this going forward. When you describe it like that, I'm like, I don't love giving up future, assets, so to speak, for, a minimal, let's put it in sports terms. This is, how would you compare it? Like, if you're doing draft picks, like you're giving up, if you're Ohio State, because obviously they get the biggest or among the biggest share, like, is this the number one pick? Because if it's not the number one pick, I don't want the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to really look at that. Like, you mean, like, is Ohio State getting, like, the number one overall pick?
Yeah, like, if you're forfeiting future assets, so you're giving up other draft picks, right? And I guess, let's just say you are getting the number one pick. What is the option out there? Like, is it Joe Burrow or is it, Fernando Mendoza? Because I think that there's a difference there in terms of what you're getting at the NFL level. So I don't know. It's tough. Just having never even seen anything like usually we could be like, oh, there's this that's sort of similar, or they did this at a different level of athletics or things like that. There's nothing like this. This is completely uncharted waters, and you just want to be careful.
Speaking of money, what's it going to take for Ohio State to keep Matt Patricia around? I don't even know if money is like the most important thing to him. I do think there'll probably be an NFL team that courts him as a defensive coordinator. I don't think he'll be in the mix to be a head coach after what happened with Detroit, but he was a really good assistant coach in the NFL for many years with the Patriots. He is knocking it out of the park as Ohio State's defensive coordinator this year. If you're a Buckeye fan, you're definitely hoping Matt Patricia comes back. Patrick, and I know you know this, I know for a fact he's very happy in Columbus. His family likes it. He doesn't like working for Ryan Day. He loves working with Ryan Day, like loves it. And I think that's probably how they would describe it. They work together. He doesn't work for Ryan Day. So everything is good. He loves Ohio State. He loves the college atmosphere. He loves Columbus. He loves working with Coach Day. But, it took $6 million for Chip Kelly to bolt to the Raiders. So, I do think he'll come back next year unless an NFL team just completely backs up the truck. What's your take?
Yeah, I guess, too, how eager is he to get back to the NFL, right? Like, if you are enjoying college life, and I mean, not as a student, obviously, but at coaching college football and working with kids. And, he's talked about how his kids never really experienced major college football before. And now they're getting to see like what the difference is with the NFL and the pageantry. And I guess that's easy to say when you're on a radio show and you're in Columbus, Ohio. But I believe that they are enjoying this. But if your goal is to be back in the NFL and coach at the highest level again, because you can do it, then I think, this could be a Chip Kelly type situation. But I do, I think we knew if you'd asked either of us last year at this time, Chip Kelly's gone, right? He had interviewed with NFL teams before he got the job at Ohio State, didn't get those jobs. Matt Patricia, not that he owes Ryan Day anything, but, had things turned out differently, say Jim Knowles doesn't leave, is Matt Patricia still doing podcasts this year? I mean,
maybe.
I don't know. Yeah.
A lot of people question the hiring, even as Ohio State's defensive coordinator. It was almost like people were acting like he was coming here as head coach,
right?
Like referencing what he did with the Lions. It's like, well, Nick Saban didn't do really that good as an NFL head coach. Urban Meyer didn't really do that well. Steve Spurrier, those guys are really good college head coaches. He's not coming here as a head coach, but I think you're right, man. His reputation had taken such a hit, and probably unfairly, because other than the current coach for the Lions, pretty much every head coach for the Lions has been a failure, and Dan Campbell's been the exception to that rule. So, yeah, you had a lot of people that were completely against this hire. I know you've said this before. You're like, oh, yeah, I was one of those people. I'm not talking about you. You were rightfully a little bit skeptical. You needed to have some questions answered. There were people that were just flat out saying, no doubt about it, this is an awful hire by Ryan Day. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, Ryan Day, other than Kerry Combs, I know that was a big miss, has done a really good job at D coordinators. Jeff Hafley, didn't expect him to be one and done. He was great. Jim Knowles, say what you want to say, he was a good hire. And now Matt Patricia. It's just he's done a great job.
Oh, absolutely. And if you can keep these guys around, Ryan Day used to have he want guys to stay around for 2 years or whatever. Or Urban Meyer did. Ryan Day has not had that. I think that's a good thing because you get a guy like Chip Kelly to help you win a national championship. Maybe you get a Matt Patricia for a year, but you would like it to, stick around. I think the question, how much does he enjoy recruiting? It seems like he's enjoying it. But, if you don't want to do that, the NFL is an easy way to...
Is there something to the fact, the word around Matt Patricia in the NFL always was he was kind of a miserable SOB?
Yeah.
And he seems to be the most jovial person on the entire coaching staff with OSU.
And sometimes it feels forced, but you're right. I mean, so sometimes he'll laugh and smile where he shouldn't be, maybe. Is that fair? So it's almost like it's like he's trying to be jovial, but he is jovial.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
I mean, just talking to him, off the record and things like that, he's liking it here.
Yeah.
Now, did he have, PR people being like, hey, man, you can't do this whole Belichick thing anymore? Maybe. And if so, I think it's working. Even if you do have to force it a little bit, he seems happier than he was, certainly with the Lions. But even looking back at his time at the Patriots, he's in better shape. Everything looks better. Real quick, very drastic change of topic, but Disney and Google agreed to a new deal to get ESPN and ABC back on YouTube TV. So I know that affects a lot of people.
A lot of people,
yeah.
Yes. If you have YouTube TV, you're going to be very happy you get to see college football tomorrow.
Yeah. I just saw that on Twitter, so I wanted to throw that out there. Not to derail our Matt Patricia conversation.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, he is. He's a changed man in every respect. His attitude, and I get it, man. He was a young guy when he joined the Patriots.
Yeah.
He was in his 20s. And then you're with Belichick for all of those years. For lack of a better word, it's almost like there's going to be some brainwashing there, right? You're going to take on, and Belichick was the GOAT. Yeah, I said past tense. There. Although North Carolina's picked it up the last couple of weeks. But seriously, you work for Belichick that long, a guy that wins 6 Super Bowls, you're going to take on his mentality a little bit. I wonder how much of what we're seeing from Patricia now is the true Patricia. And maybe he was trying to act too much like Belichick in the past. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part.
Well, and I think, he spent, however, the last year plus doing other I know him and Belichick had a podcast together, but he was doing other things. He was on Nick Sirianni's staff with the Eagles for part of that year, for a year. Now he's working with Ryan Day and this staff. So I think maybe you're seeing, hey, there's a different way to approach this than the Bill Belichick type of approach, and you can have a good time with football because it never seems like Bill is, even when he's winning. Even if you watch the Super Bowl celebrations, it's not like he's having as much fun as everyone else out there.
Up next is #Buckeyes. This is the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
A lot has changed in 30 years, but we're still that old shoe that feels worn in and well-loved. And we smell a little, but you've accepted that. The Fan.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, How about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront costs before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas, with Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
Around here, it's all or nothing. And Toyota has more all-wheel drive choices than anybody. Like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through December 1st, get 4.75 APR financing on any remaining new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander, including hybrid models. With approved credit through TFS. Plus, you get Toyota Care, 2 years, no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
All your favorite and least favorite fan shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just type in 971 The Fan to the search bar and hit that subscribe button. It's free.
We're the land of the free and the home of the sunburnt, freckled fat guy.
Do it now.
Ooh, winter's coming. And when the wind starts to blow, don't come inside to the cold. Open the door to peace of mind with your Waterworks and Header Precision Furnace Tune-Up and Energy Savings Plan. Your furnace is the heart of your home, and Waterworks and Header will have yours running at peak performance throughout the winter. Plus, you'll save on those energy bills too. Go to waterworks.com and schedule your furnace tune-up online. Waterworks and Header, heating, cooling, and plumbing, together to serve you better.
When you're building a nursery school, elementary school, charter school, high school, vocational school, or jiu-jitsu school, lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. With the largest rental fleet and most rental locations in Columbus, you can count on us to get you the right equipment at the right price right now. No matter what you got going in or going up. All powered by people. For equipment know-how, support, transport, and training. No wonder the Columbus builders who are building Columbus lean on green. Sunbelt Rentals. Learn more at sunbeltrentals.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. #Buckeyes.
Sponsored by the Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at the Waterworks and Header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
All right, Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin appeared on the Heisman Trophy podcast this week. It seems like a good podcast for Julian to go on.
Given what we were talking about earlier, I would imagine that he would be a prime guest.
No doubt about it. They're calling him Mr. 80%. It should be Mr. 81%, but, who's keeping score? You talk about the differences. Julian talked about the differences between last year's team and this year's team and how he learned so much from the leaders on last year's team. I remember saying last year throughout the season, I don't remember an Ohio State team. It was easy to say this after they won the title, but I don't remember an Ohio State team with that type of leadership. And it was a little bit of a concern of mine. Like, I knew they had good leaders coming back this year, like Caleb Downs, for example, and Sonny Styles and others, Saraveld, Ennis, all the guys that are captains. But I was like, geez, I don't know if I've seen better leadership. But despite that, they might even be better this year, Patrick, which is crazy to me. Losing 14 draft picks, all those leaders, and they might be a better team this year.
Yeah, and I think some of that has to do with a lot of these guys who either were playing like a Jeremiah, Carnell, some of the offensive linemen, the defensive guys that played, or the guys that were just watching, like a Julian saying, and Arvell Reese played, but not as much. Like, they know what it takes to win a national championship. They watched it firsthand, whether they were on the field or not. Like, they understand not only what it takes to win a national championship, but in the 12-team playoff, like, hey, how do we handle our business every day? Julian Sayin watched a guy like Will Howard and what he does to go, be able to play each week in a longer season. Things like that I think are pretty important. But yeah, it is kind of crazy to think, after last year and how many guys left, how many guys coming back next year, especially if, let's say they win again, don't want to put the cart before the horse, but if they do, and you've got all these guys coming back in 2026, it could be another scary year. And three-peat would be crazy. I mean, let's get to 2 first. But yeah, it is kind of weird to think about at this point in the year. Like, these are still some young guys.
Yeah, so, and Julian, you're predicting he's going to tie Archie to be the only 2-time Heisman winner.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
So
well, maybe he'll give it to Jeremiah.
They'll win 3 straight titles and then 2 straight Heismans. Yeah, maybe Jeremiah. Yeah. Spread the love around a little bit. Yeah. Next year's Jeremiah's year.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Julian was asked on the Heisman podcast where he can improve. And I really like this quote because we talked to Julian. This is not BS. He's very grounded despite the fact he's become a household name. He says, quote, "There's still a bunch of room for me to grow in my protection game, my pocket presence. Can I slide? Be able to get to my 4th progression? And I think just overall, my understanding of the game. There are still so many areas I want to get better, keep growing, and keep developing." I love that.
Yeah, I mean, a kid that is, like we talked about in the Heisman conversation, doing all the things that he's done this year, and you are talking about all these ways to get better. Like, that's exactly what you want from a kid, right? Like, it would be easy for him to start buying into the hype and the outside noise, and these guys can always say, like, we don't listen to it, and this, that, and the other thing. Julian knows what's going on outside. I mean, he gets asked by us about the Heisman, right? So, look, it would not surprise me if he had started to buy into the hype a little bit, but he has not.
We have college football tonight. They've done a really good job with the Friday night games this year. We've had some good Friday. Friday is like the new Thursday. It used to be Thursday back in the day. It had some good college football, and there's still some games on Thursday, but Friday's been really good. We've got Clemson and Louisville going on right now at Louisville. Clemson leads 3-0. If you have YouTube TV, you can actually watch it. It's on ESPN.
I wonder how quick that
go ahead.
Checks back on. Like, does it can you immediately get on YouTube TV? And
I would think so.
All of a sudden, I mean, I guess it would make sense.
They don't need a technician to come out. It's just YouTube TV.
Yeah.
Just bam. It should just be like flipping a switch. So yeah, Clemson leading Louisville, still first quarter in Louisville. Clemson 3, number 20 Louisville, nothing. And then later tonight on Fox, Minnesota at Oregon. A little Big Ten action tonight.
Big Ten after dark.
There you go, baby. And, Oregon's favored by 25.5. At first I was like, I don't know, man. That's like Oregon's kind of has been like, underwhelming. But Minnesota has been awful on the road this year. They've been good at home. Pretty good at home. Awful. They even lost at Cal. They've been getting blown out. They got blown out here in Columbus, which that's not like the worst thing in the world. Like a lot of teams get blown out here in Columbus, but I don't know, 25.5. I did do a long shot parlay, Patrick Murphy, and I did include Minnesota plus 25.5 on that, but I don't know how much confidence I have they can cover. Hopefully we have a good game tonight.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like you said, the Friday night games have been pretty good. So, but that is, I mean, look, we saw it firsthand last year going out to Oregon. Tough place to play. That's a night game. When we were there, it was an afternoon into night game. I imagine that place will be pretty wild, even though it's just Minnesota coming to town. So, yeah, tough task for the Gophers. I think for the sake of the getting more Big Ten teams into the college football playoff, you probably want the Oregon to handle this. But crazy things happen on Friday night.
Let's see how close of attention you were paying during the show. What was Steve Belisari's completion percentage in the 2001 Ohio State-UCLA game?
25.2.
You're still too high.
Oh, okay.
You ever thought 25.2 would be too high for completion percent? He was 20.
He had 2 interceptions.
21.7%. You're right. He was 5 of 23.
5 of 23.
5 of 23 for 45 yards. You ran 2 interceptions. 21.7%. Not great there. All right, let's look around college football. So, USC tomorrow hosting Iowa. We said if USC wins out, they're in the CFP. Now, ESPN's Football Power Index, Patrick, is giving USC a 76.2% chance of beating Iowa tomorrow. The fact that this game's at the Coliseum, I do think USC is going to win. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking what Nate said earlier. Like, if USC wins out, 10-2, USC is in. What about 10-2 Oregon, which would include a loss to USC? They'd be right on the bubble, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think it depends on what other teams do because you don't have, again, the biggest win is probably Iowa, and that's probably not going to hold up over other teams that only have 2 losses. You at the very least have to be like a narrow last-second field goal type of loss to probably be in that conversation. I think there's probably a better shot if other things happen that USC could get in with that loss just because they do have some better wins. But yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Oregon to do with the way that the schedule's played out for them.
And then we have what I think is going to be an interesting game. Notre Dame is favored by 12.5 at Pitt tomorrow, and high noon game. For once, Ohio State's not the noon game. Ohio State has a night game tomorrow, of course. And Pitt, early on, I thought they were a bad team. They lost to West Virginia, but then they switched quarterbacks. This young man from Ohio has been getting it done, true freshman. I kind of like Pitt. I think Notre Dame's going to win tomorrow. What do you make of that spread? I think Pitt is going to keep that game close at home. If it was in South Bend, I'd feel different about it, but 12.5 seems like a lot of points. I think that's going to be a close game.
I agree, though Aaron Donald is the guest picker. So I don't know if he can suit up and help Pitt out there. I wouldn't mind him suiting up for the Rams here over the second half of the season. But to answer your question, I think, look, Notre Dame knows what they have to do to get in, right? And you just have to keep winning. And you may want to have some style points there just to help yourself out. So I think Notre Dame probably handles their business in that one.
Which like how the mighty have fallen thing I'm reading online currently. So I pulled up ESPN's website, and I'm looking at the SEC schedule for this week. Arkansas is at LSU. Tickets as low as $5.
Oh, gosh.
Yikes.
Goodness gracious. You're used to seeing that for like a Miami Hurricanes home game. Like, what time can you get here?
It just means more, right?
Absolutely.
That's
well played, Patrick.
Missouri, Mississippi State is more expensive than that game. That game is gross.
We also have Michigan at Northwestern tomorrow at Wrigley. So at Northwestern-ish. At Wrigley. That's at noon. Michigan favored by 11.5.
Yeah, that's a fun one. We were obviously a part of that a year ago. So I think that'll be interesting to watch just for the sake of seeing another football game at Wrigley.
What was that like covering a game there?
It was cool. The press box was hot for some reason, but it was pretty cool to just experience that. I'd never been inside the stadium before, so that was my first time.
That is our show for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. For Patrick Murphy and Nate Putterbaugh, I am Dave Biddle. This has been the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Looking for bold flavors and award-winning spirits? Highbank Distillery is your destination for handcrafted cocktails, locally inspired dishes, and Whiskey War, the nationally recognized whiskey. Stop by their Grandview, Gahanna, and Westerville locations this week. Dine, drink, distill at Highbank.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up.
but it was tough.
Ohio State National Championship quarterback and former CareSource kid, Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction, but I also needed the right support system. Seeing that CareSource heart around town, I just knew they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. This is so much more than health insurance. CareSource, today and always. Trusted. Visit caresource.com.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Everyone loves Donato's legendary thin crust, but sometimes you want a little more to grab. That's where Donato's hand-tossed pizza comes in. Golden, delicious, and perfect for dipping in that ranch, marinara, or garlic butter sauce. For a limited time, get a large one-topping hand-tossed pizza plus dipping sauce for just $9.99. Order online using promo code MORE. Donato's. Gotta love more.